Hi there, we are Wilhouse Solutions, and I am Hannah.
I'm Caden.
I'm Aziz.
This semester, our team worked on building SafeRide, a safety focused mobile app for public transportation users. We followed a full UX process from scoping to prototyping to testing, and today we'll walk you through our journey. In the beginning of the semester, we started with a broad challenge: design a tool to help users solve their transportation needs. After some early brainstorming, we came up with several ideas right off from the bat. But looking back on it, they were all unrealistic and unideal. That wouldn't have made it out of a development phase if we never had done the rest of this class. One idea that this stood out is the feeling of being unsafe, especially when you're traveling alone. That led to our guiding question: how can we make public transportation feel safer? Everything we did afterwards was just centered around that mission, and we were just in hope to look around the perfect solution for the issue.
We researched some users that we thought would be the perfect people to interview. They were all some users of public transportation, but they were all so wildly different that it made good data that both lined up and was differentiated. Our survey ended up very successful too. We ended up with about 70 responses, which is way more than we had expected, but it gave us some amazing data. We were able to see what the real problems were with which parts of public transportation. Some of our findings include the subways and buses are the least liked modes of transportation, and both are mainly due to the cleanliness and safety of each mode. Our user personas consisted of two different, very interesting people. One was AJS Train Guy, a subway user and regional rail user, and the other consisted of Rob L. Working Man. He was a bus user and subway user. Their goals are to be able to get to and from school and to and from work using public transportation because they both live in a city.
Once we figure out what our problem is, after multiple user survey responses, we were able to focus on what we needed to create for those problems. We knew cleanliness and safety were our biggest concerns. However, safety is the most important issue, and therefore we went with it. We created SafeRide, a mobile app that empowers riders to feel safer and stay connected. Here is how it works. Step 1 will be finding your subway. You can do this by inputting the time and location of your arrival and departure stop. Second, you'll be connected with the other SafeRide users traveling the same subway and in the real time, essentially creating a buddy system with fellow commuters. Step 3 will be an emergency button. A highly visual emergency button is always available on the screen. If something goes wrong, the user can immediately tap it. Step 4 is after the user immediately taps in, SafeRide sends a real-time alert. Who is it sending to? It is sending to local transit authorities, let's say SEPTA authorities, and they are immediately informed about an alert or an emergency. Step 6 will be rapid response from their side, whether it's in any form. Help is ready and waiting at the next stop. We wanted riders to be able to have someone they can look to in order to stay together if something happens on the subway. SafeRide is built for everyone who uses public transit, whether it's commuters, students, tourists, and essentially those who often travel alone. Our goal is to turn a potentially isolating experience into one that feels safe and supported. In short, SafeRide isn't just an app. It's peace of mind in your pocket, whether it's connecting with fellow riders or knowing that help is one tap away and you are always safe. So SafeRide gives public transit users the safety tool they deserve.
In our design phase, we were brainstorming how to bring our idea to life. We created user flows and user stories to give us an idea of a situation a user might find themselves in when trying to use our app. These were able to help us start creating an app that will be both very functional and easy to use. Our user story started with two users, both opening apps for different reasons. One is getting on to use the app for traveling somewhere and keeping safe, and the other is using it to edit their profile for future use. Once we designed these user stories for what they might use the app for, we could start designing the user flows. We started with the homepage being the place to make a travel log and had the nav bar at the top leading you around the app. Once we got all these ideas, we were able to begin actually making a wireframe. The wireframe was a super simple, non-interactable design. It was an image that just showed how the app might look. We wanted to make sure we made a simple design so users aren't overwhelmed with information, and we wanted to include a big red emergency button in the event of an emergency happening that needs to be dealt with. After the wireframing was done, we started making it interactive so we could begin usability testing. We found that Figma limited a lot of what we could do without actually paying for it, but we were still able to make a decently working prototype that actually gave us a lot of valuable information once we began usability testing.
Next, we tested our prototype with real users. We observed them complete key tasks like setting preferences and finding a buddy. A consistent issue was that users looked for preferences in the Settings tab, but we had placed them under Profile. Another tester suggested a great feature, a temporary chat that opens up only during the ride. This will allow the riders to communicate if needed without over-committing to socially. After completing our initial design and testing phase, we recognized that iteration is a key to improve user experience. While we only completed one full cycle of testing and refinement, it provided valuable insights that will guide our next steps. One major change we plan to make is relocating user preferences. In our prototype, these settings were placed under the Profile tab. However, during usability testing, users instinctively looked for them under the Settings tab, which we hadn't fully developed yet. To improve navigation and meet user expectations, we will move those controls into settings sections. Another important suggestion from users was to include a temporary chat feature. This would activate only when two users are matched as travel buddies, allowing them to communicate during their trip. This feature aligns perfectly with our goal of improving rider safety and accountability. While we didn't have time to fully build and test all these features, we've laid out the foundation for a product that could become a true, valuable, practical, and user-friendly tool for public transportation safety. Our research, design, and testing have all confirmed the potential impact of Safe Ride app.